Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo, people. This is your counter view every day, daily here on Footy Judge Mo. And today we got a great show for you. We'll talk about Benzema, who apparently is closer to Chelsea now. Should Arsenal have gone for him? Should have Arsenal got Benzema to revive their title charge? And also we'll talk about the 5-0 against Crystal Palace and what does it mean? And also Liverpool quad is on starting today against Fulham to face Chelsea in the final, who smashed Middlesbrough yesterday by 6 goals. And Pochettino is reaching the final with them. Can he get them over the line? Can he win his first trophy in England? Also, Maddison is back with City. Erling Haaland still injured. How serious is that game for Spurs? But I'm here with the brilliant Savva from Football Heritage TV and Jerry James, of course. And I hope everybody's well. How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, why not? Wednesday afternoon, living the dream, lunchtime. Yeah. See your faces. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Everything is good. Jerry, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Excited about tonight. It's a big game for Liverpool. I think it sets the precedent and the tone for the back end of the season. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, happy to be on as always. And big up to the chat.
Listen, there's only one place to start, which is this Benzema thing. Because the reason why I'm on this Benzema thing, but people listen, hit that like button if you just joined. How old is Benzema, people? He's 35 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Last season at Real Madrid, older. Last season at Real Madrid, he played well, right? And now he's linked to Arsenal, he's linked to Chelsea, and I want to start with Arsenal, right? Why are Arsenal linked to someone like Benzema, 35 years old? Is that the guy you want? Can he be someone who revived their title charge? I'm gonna start with Savva here. Like, this is a 35 years old. If Liverpool or City, and this is the question, if Liverpool or City were linked with him, would we have been saying it's a good signing? Or
Look, he's 37 this year. He's 37 at the end of the year.
7 years old.
Yeah. But look, I think this is when you get signings, I think you put signings into different buckets. For me, this goes into the stopgap. This is purely a get us over the line type signing for whatever getting over the line means for that particular club. This isn't a signing that shows any thought, any strategy, any process for the long-term future of the club. Whether or not it's Chelsea or Arsenal, both of them need goal scorers. I think both of those two, compared to the other clubs, have got real lack of goal scorers in their team. I was talking about this morning. For me, I think it all depends, Mo, on what Benzema you're getting. Are you getting? Listen, no one can doubt his ability to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't think anyone in this chat could argue that he's a proven goal scorer in world football. Are you getting a hungry Benzema that's coming over to fire goals, prove a point? Does he have a point to prove? I think he's won like everything in world football multiple times. He's won the Ballon d'Or. He's led Real Madrid to Champions Leagues, La Ligas. So what's the drive for him? But having said that, if you put the ball anywhere near him in that box, he's going to give you more than any Chelsea forward or any Arsenal forward gives you at the moment. So, listen, I guess there's pros and cons to it, but it's just not a long-term strategy for me.
Okay, Jerry, let me ask you something. You're a Liverpool supporter. Guys, hit that like button. Over 100 people here. Hit that like button. The minute you walk in, the like button needs to be lit. Give me to 100 likes, people. Very simple. Doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps the channel massively. If you're a Liverpool supporter and Arsenal are signing Karim Benzema, 37 years old, twilight of his career. Yes, he was a prolific goal scorer. Maybe they go sign R9 at the same time now, and we'll see how it happens. Is this, listen, with all due respect to Benzema, and he's absolutely a brilliant footballer that played very, very well, won Ballon d'Or, as Savva alluded to, and Savva said, and won the Champions League like 50 times. 37 years old, coming from the Saudi League, the physicality is different. Hasn't played in Europe for about 6-7 months. Last year, he was all right. He was good. Do you think this is what you call, you know what, we'll get a striker but at the same time, we'll get someone who isn't going to cost us money because of FFP. Are they doing the bare minimum just to say we got a striker? Because if you wanna sign someone, go and spend the money. Find the money somewhere. Find the loophole to get Ivan Toney or something. Is this something that will make you scared about Arsenal at all if they sign him?
It would, from the perspective that Savva's talking about. So if he comes in and he's got a point to prove, if he wants to go and kind of just show everyone, cool, I'm Benzema, then it's going to be a problem. As Savva alluded to incorrectly, if that ball drops to him anywhere in that penalty box, you know it's more likely going to be a goal. I go back to the Arsenal Liverpool versus Arsenal game at Anfield, which I was at. If Benzema's in on there and it's not Jesus headering that headering the ball and trying to get it on target, Benzema scoring that chance, or one of them, because there was 2 chances for him in that game. So it makes them more prolific. The question is, does Benzema aid them in terms of their build-up, in terms of the off-the-ball work? Does it make Arsenal better? Now Arsenal are going to have to adapt to the type of striker they've got. It's well and good saying, yeah, you know what, go and get even with City as an example, and they got Haaland, it took them a while to adjust because it's a different type of striker. They were accustomed to playing with these false nines and these smaller strikers that drop into the pocket. So it does make them stronger, a bit more prolific. It makes them a bit more scary. But from a Liverpool perspective, it would just be a stopgap. It would be, okay, cool, we've got to wait till next summer. Now, going to your point on the Toney situation, clubs are scared. Clubs are scared. The FFP thing suddenly has become real. Do you know what I mean? These point deductions are now real. These fines are real. These breaches are real. So clubs are going to be very tentative in trying to go and purchase a Toney for 100 million when they could probably go and accrue that to the next season or next term and kind of offload that, because there's no guarantee with a Toney or an Osimhen, that is with any signing, that they're going to come in and on the back end of the season without having a preseason are going to come in and just hit the ground running. I think if you're looking to go and make a big signing like that, it is going to be in the summer. I don't think it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a heck of a lot of money to go and purchase a Toney or an Osimhen or whoever. Who else is there in the market right now that you can get? Benzema is probably your best option. Yes, it is a stopgap, but who else is there? Lewandowski. How much is that going to like? In terms of strikers, there's not a lot of strikers on the market at the moment. So it's a solution. The question is, how good of a solution would it be? And you won't know until the end of the season, unfortunately.
So away from Benzema, Arsenal winning against Crystal Palace, Savva, 5-0. Looked all right the first half, scored a couple of free kicks, looked fresh coming from Dubai, right? How serious are they with this title now? Like, they are 5 points behind Liverpool. Are they back on track?
No, listen. I've got to be true to everything I've said all season. I repeat this every single show that I do with anybody. I've always said it's going to be City, from Liverpool, from Arsenal. I've not changed on that all season. I've seen nothing throughout this season that's made me change my mind on any of that. Arsenal should be battering Crystal Palace. Let's call it for what it is. Arsenal have spent a lot of money under Arteta. This is a Crystal Palace team that, listen, they've got a couple of individual stars when you look at Eze and Elise, who I believe have only been on the pitch together 3 times this season, which is a huge issue for Palace. But they should be winning that game, right? I don't think for me, I don't think for me there's anything to it. They should be winning those games. They're not the games that are going to decide whether Arsenal win titles or not. It's the bigger games that decide if Arsenal win titles or not. And I'll stand by it. I don't think they're anywhere near the squad of Liverpool, and I don't think they're anywhere near the squad of Man City. I don't think their manager is anywhere near the level of Klopp, near the level of Pep. I don't think their depth is anywhere near as good. I don't think their goal scorers are anywhere near as good. And for me, I've got them down for third, closer to Spurs and Villa than City, Liverpool the other way. So good win for them. I thought they'd win it. It was comfortable for them. Yeah, that's not the game that decides it. If they've really got ambitions to go and win this league, beat Liverpool. Right? When Liverpool go there, what is it, in 2 games' time? When Liverpool go there, put down a marker, win your next game, Arsenal, then beat Liverpool, then turn around, shut people like me up and go, right, we're back in a title challenge. But for me, I think they're miles away from the top two. Not maybe in points at the moment, but I just think in terms of getting over the line, yeah.
So if they beat Liverpool for you, they are serious about this.
I think,
or they are still. They will. Okay. I said I was on the football terrace and I said if Arsenal drew this game or lose, it's done for them. Like you can't be serious, and be 7 points behind or 6 points behind. Like
I still don't think. Listen, they can beat Liverpool. For me, I think it shows the intent. For me, I still listen. Have they got more than both the two above them? If you were saying this was a straight one-on-one race between City and Arsenal, we saw it last year. They haven't got what it takes. Now you've chucked Liverpool into the mix. So they've not just got to get past one team. They've got to get past two formidable squads. And whilst I think Arsenal are a good team, I just look at them and there's no wow factor for me. They don't have their Mo Salah. They don't have Virgil van Dijk's and Alisson's.
The team doesn't have X factor, It's simple,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no X factor. City have got it in abundance. Liverpool have got it. And more importantly, the one thing I always say that I'm always mocked for, Liverpool and City have got players and managers that have been there, seen it and done it. They know how to get over the line. Arsenal don't. I'll keep saying it until I'm proven wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll come back on the end of the season, Mo, and say fair play to Arsenal. I just don't think they're there. I don't. Said it all year. Don't think they're
Jerry,
there.
what do you think of this Arsenal? Like, listen, they are linked to Zubamendi, who plays very well for Sociedad, very well, a midfielder that I think is a brilliant footballer, right? And that is what everybody was saying is missing from them. They didn't replace Granit Xhaka. They're trying to shoehorn other people. Now they're scoring goals against Crystal Palace. So we're watching them now. Silencing critics who say you don't score goals. Scoring 5, I think, is enough. So signing someone like Zubamendi, if we believe the reports are, why are we still doubting them?
Because they haven't done it, as I spoke.
Yeah, but you don't do it until you do it.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone's going to doubt you until you go and do it. That's how life is. Until you've gone and done it, who's going to go and give you the respect to see you can do it unless it's like clear and obvious, like they're 20 points ahead of everyone and there's one game left to go. Then you're like, oh, okay, you've done it before you've done it. But in life, you've got to do it before anyone's going to go and give you the respect. No one is going to go and just give you respect for having a good title challenge or for nearly doing something. That they're not. The reason why people are looking at Liverpool and saying, okay, you know, we trust them, just as Savva alluded to. They have Klopp. Klopp's done it. They've got Virgil. Virgil's done it. They've got Salah. Salah's done it. If these players hadn't have done it, they wouldn't have the aura or that X factor you're talking about. They'd just be good players, which Arsenal do have. But until they get to that next level, until they do it and shut a lot of fans up, like Liverpool had to go and do when we didn't win the league, when we hadn't won the league for 30 years, and when we weren't winning any major trophies, we had to do it until people took us seriously. Now, if they go and miss out on even on the league, but win the Champions League, then they're still talking, in my opinion. Then they're like, okay, they've gone and done something now. That group of players has been able to go and win something, and they've got something now they can build on. Currently, they're a good team that are still trying to get to where Man City and Liverpool have already been. So the likes of signing Zubamendi, look, they've had Ozil in the team. Like they were signing players like Ozil. They had Sanchez in the team, and it still didn't amount to anything. They had Aubameyang who got goals. It still didn't amount to anything. Now they've got Saka. They've got Jesus. They've got someone that's actually gone and done it, and it's still not amounted to anything until they do it. So Zubamendi's a great player. I'd love him at Liverpool. I think he's fantastic. Yeah. But is that going to be? Is that the difference?
Stardust.
I thought that was supposed to be Declan Rice. I thought
you need Jerry. I feel you like teams like that need stardust. Like I feel teams can build a good team, a good setup, but I think you've got to get players that can get you over the line. And unfortunately now, to get over the line past Liverpool and City. And the reason I talk about Liverpool and City a lot is they've been the two up there consistently for the last 7 years. Yes, Man City have dominated that, but Liverpool have been their nearest challengers every year apart from last year. And I don't look at Saka and think he's a difference maker. I think he's a good footballer. I don't look at Martinelli and think, big game player, you're a difference maker. They need one.
But
They
weren't
need
they,
two.
Savva, sorry, can I interject and ask you a question about what you just said?
Yeah.
Weren't they very, very good last year? Like for a big period of time. Weren't they fantastic for like, you know, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli both have 20 plus GA. I think Saka had like 14, 15 goals. Martinelli had 14. Odegaard had 15. Plus each one of them had like 7, 8 assists. So what is, I know they aren't doing it now, but what is stopping them from going back to that form that they did last year? But there has to be something that is stopping them.
Mo, there's nothing stopping them. But the difference is, see, this is the thing. When I talk about football in 2024, we talk about GA so much that we're losing the meaning of what big game players do, right? It's all well and good racking up your good GA throughout the season. But last season, we saw it when Arsenal had those moments to go through in the Europa League against, was it Sporting? Those moments, in the cup games, those moments in when they were 8 points, 7 points clear of Man City, etc. And they had West Ham away, who were in a relegation battle, Southampton, who were bottom of the table, and Liverpool, who weren't in great form. Those 3 games, you saw them completely capitulate. How often do you see Liverpool or Man City have a 3-game run like that when it matters? Not in the beginning of the season.
No, I never
when
seen
when it matters, right? So for me, I'm not saying their players are bad, and I think this is what Jerry, you know how this YouTube game works. People will take what I'm saying and say Arsenal got bad players. They're not, but big game players. Arsenal I don't look at anyone in that Arsenal team right now and go, that guy is going to drag me through. That guy's going to go to war for me, and when it's not going well, he's going to drag me through. The Arsenal fans will adamantly deny it because they're so the same way. I said this about Kane and Son.
They want to believe.
I said this about Kane and Son. You can rack up your GA all you want, but when it came to the biggest of moments, when it came to the biggest of games that sort you out from being a top player to a winner, didn't come off. It didn't come off.
I don't even think you need to go that far into it. We use the same analogy or example with Newcastle, right? Newcastle had an amazing season last year. Everyone said this is the season where, they're really going to be tested because they're fighting on 2 fronts. They're going to go this. We can see if, Eddie Howe can replicate what's gone on again. Is Almiron and Joe Linton going to perform to the same level? All these questions were posed at them. It's the same thing you've got to pose at Arsenal. They had one season where they were challenging right up to the end. They nearly couldn't win. They nearly could have won it, but they didn't. Let's just keep it real. They just didn't. So now this season was going to be the season where it's tough. Can you go and do it again? Can Saka replicate and do what he's done again? For me, even if Saka was performing at the same level that he did last year and was winning them the same games and scoring those last-minute goals or those earning them those 1-0 victories and stuff, I'd look at him and be like, okay, he's that star player. Clearly, that was his first season when he done it. He's had the second season when he's done it. That's what Salah had to do. When Salah had his first season, what did people say after the first season? One season wonder. He's not going to ever do it again. He can't he can't maintain that level. Look at his numbers for Roma and Fiorentina. What did he do the next season after that? Even though we dropped off with the whole, we won the league. Even though he dropped off in terms of numbers, we won the league that year. He had a ridiculous season again. So if these players were able to go and replicate what they've done last season, these conversations wouldn't be happening now. And to be fair, looking at the league, they'll be miles ahead of everyone else. But clearly they're not, because everyone's dropped off, even though they've gone and spent 200, 300 million or whatnot on strengthening the squad, which is supposed to kick them on a level. They've actually dropped off, which suggests to me that was a one-season situation as opposed to something that's on a consistent level. Yes, they're a great team. They're a good team. Are they winners? No, they haven't won anything. So why am I going to give them the same respect that I give City? That's madness.
You shouldn't. You're right. You're 100% right. Like, guys, 320 of you here. At least get us to 150 likes, people, in this morning for me. Listen, I'm waking up at 6 in the morning to do content for you. At least hit that like 6 in the morning, people. Hit that like button. Get us at least to 200 likes. I think that's the bare minimum here. The like button is underneath your live chat. Right, listen. I want to move on to Pochettino. Is Poch shouting? We spoke about like this. Oh my God, kick him out. He's playing players at the wrong places. Kick him out of the club. We need a better manager. Chelsea need to be doing better. Okay, he's reached the final. Are they where they are in the league? Were they supposed to be in the league? No, they are not, right? They're sitting ninth or something. But do we see signs of good? Does any of you see good signs from Pochettino? Good football from Pochettino at all? Like something that might give him time.
I think they create chances, you know. Like if I'm gonna be deadly honest, the one thing I'd say about Chelsea is I've never looked at them in the same way I've looked at Man United at times, where it's just what are these? This team just can't
What are they
create a
doing?
chance. What are they doing? You can see there's patterns of play. They've got a style that they want to go and play with. And if they had a better striker, they'd probably put a lot of their chances away. If you look at Jackson's misses, Cole Palmer's misses, even, and Kunku hasn't been available. No, I'm not saying they'd be going and winning the league, but they'd be in a much better position if they could go and put their chances away. I think they just can't finish, and that's for all the hoo-ha surrounding Colwell playing at left back, and you're having these centre backs playing out wide, and Gallagher's captain in the team, and all this ruckus surrounding the club. They create chances, and they play. I like the football they play. If I'm being honest, I like it aesthetically. If they can get a striker in, then do you know what I mean, they're going to be in the business if they could go and convert some of those chances in terms of climbing back up the table potentially. So that's the positive for me. Apart from that, obviously Pochettino still makes mistakes. Tactically, sometimes he can get it wrong when the game's not going his way. So in game, I don't think he's being too good, and he hasn't won anything. And obviously, that's always going to be a downer. But
he has won
good.
stuff. Paris Saint-Germain.
He has. At least, yes.
He lifted the trophy.
He lifted the trophy.
He
Done
did
this.
lift
He was able
that
to go and do
trophy.
this. Yeah, I forgot.
You do it once, you taste it once. No, but I get what you're saying. But I'm going to ask Savva a question in a different way. I was doing a show yesterday, and I kept saying, he reached the final. What if he wins a trophy? And people said, he should be in the final. They spent $1 billion. Well, I don't think Chelsea will make top 4. Let's just be honest here. There is like a 9-point drift. Like, it's not going to happen, right? If they make top 6 and they went to the final, it's a 50-50 game if Liverpool reach there. Do we think that Pochettino, that this team, from this point, even if they reach top 6, are underachieving from a 1 billion squad, or it's a young? Like, I'm gonna let you answer, Sam. I'm not gonna give you ideas.
Look, but you don't need to give me ideas. It's absolutely fine. Look, I think there's a number of things here. As with anything in football, everything is very knee-jerk. This whole £1 billion squad statement, if you actually break this down, I saw a really good article about this the other day on The Athletic. So if you actually break this down, what Chelsea have done is put a £1 billion squad together in the space of 3 transfer windows, right? I'll ask you this question. How much did Man United put their squad together for? How much is this Man City squad? How much is Liverpool's entire squad? I'm not saying they're all $1 billion, but the thing is, we're doing it because Chelsea dropped that money in the space of 18 months.
Yes.
Right? Now, it's not like, now this is by design, apparently. They've gone and bought lots of young players for the future. You can see that. When you look at them, they're a very, very young outfit. Probably, for me, too young, and they should have got a little bit more experience in there. But this whole, we've dropped 1 billion, we've got to win or challenge for a title now. I don't think from looking at their squad at the beginning of the season that they should have been anywhere near winning a league title. They're nowhere near as ready as Man City, Liverpool. They're nowhere near Arsenal. I don't know why people expected that.
I'm going to ask you then.
But to answer your question, 6th from the position they're in now would rescue the season and the cup. From the beginning of the season, you would have said, no, you've got to be challenging for top 4. But you know what? Football isn't all played in 1 year, Mo. Yes. What's to say that they can't kick on next year and some of these players really come through, flourish, and they are in the top 3 or they are in a title? Like, everything doesn't need to be done in 1 year. This notion that every club can win the league every year in 1 year is absolutely madness. It's madness. I always look at it like this. When I look at whatever any club does, I look at it and go, have you closed the gap to City? Because that's the benchmark.
Yes.
Have you closed the gap to City? If you haven't, why does anyone expect these teams to win? Why did any Arsenal fan expect that they were better than Man City now? I don't know what's happened for them to think they're better than Man City. Chelsea the same. Newcastle, with their fans, were talking about, can we challenge for it? Tottenham fans do it. You've seen me put Tottenham fans down, Mo, where I've gone, stop talking about titles. We're not good enough. So why are Chelsea any different?
I don't know what Chelsea are different because Chelsea is a big club. They won the Champions League, I think, 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And if the thing about it is that if Liverpool tomorrow replace their whole squad and spend £1 billion, they will be asked for more than sitting 10th after 21 games.
Sure.
If Spurs spend that much money and got these players that everybody wanted, they will be asked for more than 9th spot. Well, but I'm looking at it and I didn't like the way they spent the money. Just from just a personal perspective, I'm like, I actually think that this model that they did when they bought a lot of young players, the amortization or 8-year contracts and dividing the money on 8 years, I think this model isn't to my liking for a couple of reasons. Number one, I like if every club is allowed to do that, players will be tied to 8-year contracts. Now the Premier League has stopped it, so they found a loophole to do it. But if any other club has spent that much money, they will be asked for more than sitting 9.
But they have all spent that much money. It's just they did it in 3 windows. Loads of these clubs have spent completely that much
different.
Money.
So it's different than it's building a squad slowly, one by one.
Yeah.
And then at the end, so hear me out then. So your argument is, but the other clubs spend the same, but on longer period of time. Well, so that the fruit of that spending you see at the end, right? Like imagine if Club X spent £1 billion over 8 years. You are expecting at the end of the 8 years to see the fruit of the plant you did, like all of this, what you did, right? Everything that you did over these years. Now, Chelsea said, screw these 8 years or 7 years or 5 years building. I'm just going to do it in 1 year. So they got the ready-made tree now. Does that make sense? So they need
but it's not. That's
what I agree with you.
And that's what
I agree with you here. I agree with you. They bought the wrong, so they didn't buy a ready tree, but they spent a lot of money on a tree that still needs to be built. Well, we agree or disagree about Chelsea. I actually thought in the beginning of the season, it's a very complicated situation. And I don't want to turn this into a negative about Chelsea because at the end, they reached the cup final. A lot of clubs didn't. A team like Arsenal got knocked out of both clubs, with all due respect. Spurs got out of the Carabao Cup where they could have went for it, right? So Chelsea didn't. Chelsea are in a cup final. They have a 50% chance of winning a trophy this year. And they look good. The long story short, Chelsea spent a lot of money. Expectations should be higher. But I wanted to get your view as a Spurs fan about Poch. You had him at your club. The question is that everybody's asking, can he get them to a point where they actually can win a league title or challenge for the Champions League? Is that something he can do? The cup for Mo, and this is footy judge Mo, I do not consider the cup getting over the line. Like for people to say you win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, you won trophies, I don't think so. For me, it's the league or the Champions League. At least you have to challenge like Liverpool to the end of it and win it 1 year over 5 years. Do you believe that Pochettino can take Chelsea back? Because Chelsea won 5 leagues in the last 20 years. Can he do it?
I don't know. Look, nothing I've seen from him in his career tells me yes.
All right.
Nothing I've seen makes me scream yes. But there's not many managers out there that I look at and go, he'll definitely do it. That's the problem for me. I think we're in a stage where there's a real lack of top quality managers. I think there's a real lack of top quality strikers. I think there's a real lack of top quality centre halves, goalkeepers. I think it's all very doer at the moment, if I'm brutally honest. I think Pochettino will get them to a point. This is what he did in the first year with Spurs, by the way. He took his time. Anyone who thought he was going to come in and do it immediately, that's not your guy. I said this at the beginning of the season. This is not your guy. He's not a ready-made winner that goes, bum, 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 bang. He takes his time, plays around, makes mistakes, does lots of things that will frustrate fans. And then he started to get better when he was at Tottenham. Difference is this time he's doing it with a lot of young players that have got a lot of pressure on them from day one. Is he a serial winner? No. Is he Klopp? Is he Ancelotti? Is he Pep? No. Is he Simeone? No. I don't know. Maybe they brought him in. He's for that first part of the build, and then they go again. I don't know, but can he do it? I don't know.
So why didn't they go and get a Simeone? Or if you spend that much money and get all these players, why didn't you go and buy a Simeone out of his contract? Why didn't you go and get someone who's ready? I don't know who's ready made to win, to be honest. Why didn't?
But sorry, go, Jerry, you go.
Jerry,
for me,
I don't know. I just think Chelsea are going down a different model. I think the appointment of Graham Potter signified that. They're not looking to go and buy players for a manager. They're looking to buy players for a club and for the system, which means that at any given point they can change their manager, bring another one in, still play a very similar style of football that the players go and fit the mold of the identity of the club as opposed to the identity of a manager. I think if you're coming in with Simeone, you're going to need to go in and change the way you want to go and play football, and that starts from the bottom up. So from the players they're signing in the academy to the young players they're signing that aren't getting a looking into the first team, all the way up to those starters in your first team, and then from there you want to go and play a style, which means that at any given moment, if Simeone goes, you can bring a very similar style of manager that can come in and it's plug and play. Can you do that with Simeone? Simeone, if you're coming in, people are going to expect him to be a winning now manager. He's not someone that's, I know he's been at Atletico for a long time now, but if he's leaving, I can't see him looking to go and replicate what he's done at Atletico. It's going to be, can you win for me as soon as possible?
Right.
Looking at a Pochettino, looking at a Graham Potter, they are managers that play a similar style of football. That means that at any given point, Potter could have won something and then lost and dropped off the year after. They could have got him out, got another manager in, just as Brighton have done in the past, and it just seems seamless. Like the level doesn't drop off too much because the identity of the club has changed. Whereas before, it was always Abramovich was the identity. And when you're moving away from that, you've got to change the culture completely. So you're looking towards a Pochettino that's going to do it slow because you don't want the yo-yo effect of going up and down as Chelsea have been before that. So, I think that's the reason why you don't go for a Simeone or an Ancelotti or Allegri or all these other names that are floating about.
How are we seeing Chelsea's? I said, because yesterday people didn't like it, especially Liverpool fans didn't like it when I said it's a cup final. Chelsea have good players. If Liverpool reach the cup final, they're closer, they're ahead in this tie. It's a 50-50 game. People didn't like that. Why are people not liking when I say 50-50? Savva, I said it's a cup final, freaking cup final at Wembley. Chelsea have good players.
You've just answered your own question. If it's the Liverpool fans saying they don't like it, of course they're not, because Liverpool fans know they're better than Chelsea, and
they are favourites, right? They are. It's a better team, but it's a cup final. But it's a cup final.
Look, okay, but again, this is what I mean. If we take everything, as I say, everything isn't feast or famine. Everything isn't that. So normally the truth lies somewhere in here, right? With most conversations, right? Are Chelsea? I mean, first of all, let's assume, because Liverpool haven't got through yet. We think they will, but like if Liverpool get through tonight, Liverpool have to be considered the overwhelming favourites. Of course they do, right? And the pressure will be more on Klopp than it will be on Poch, because Liverpool are Klopp. Klopp has been there for 7, 8, 9 years. I don't know how many years it is. He's been there for a long time. The entire club is him. It's built in his model. Pochettino's been there for 21 league games so far, right? So for me, the pressure goes on him. If you ask Liverpool fans, they're of course going to go, yeah, this isn't 50-50. We're winning this. As a neutral, I think Liverpool will win it, but it's 50-50 from the point of view that it's the cup. It's a one-off game. All it takes is one slip, one bad VAR decision. All it takes is a silly own goal. That's football in a one-off game. Chelsea aren't that bad, by the way. In all of these games where people are going, Chelsea are terrible, but I'm not seeing Chelsea getting any hammerings. I don't know. I might be wrong. I can't remember Chelsea.
They drew the last 7 games.
They drew what?
The last 7 games together.
Against who?
All of them. Against Liverpool, Chelsea. Home or away.
Okay, but there you go. So but my point was in general, when I look at their results now, when they're losing games, all the games they're losing by 1 goal, apart from the Newcastle game where they got battered 4-1.
Yeah.
So why can't they win it? Of course they can win it. And of course, Liverpool are favourites. So I think it's just about a level of realism here, right?
Guys, Jerry, I'm going to let Jerry answer this as well. Because he's a Liverpool fan. You can see the crest on his chest, right? It's simple. You can see it right here. Guys, over 400 people here. Let's get to 200 likes. Simple and easy underneath the laughter. Jerry, if you're going at this Chelsea game, before we speak about the quad, it's a good segue to Liverpool. In the final, if you go past Fulham today, how are you seeing this game? Like, is it something that you must win at Liverpool? Is it a failure if you don't win that one?
It definitely is a failure if you don't win it. You're in the final now, so it would be a failure. If Liverpool have any ambitions of quad talk, title talk, do you know what I mean? Whatever it is, winning the FA Cup, for me, this sets a precedent. Do you know what I mean? You need to go and win the games that matter, because after that, then you get on a roll. I always use City as an example, and they were able to go and do that for multiple years, where they won that, and then from there it was just they won 1 game, 2 games, 10 games, 13 games, 14 games, and they were able to just win because they were just on a high. Liverpool were able to go and do it a couple of seasons ago when we were challenging on all fronts. It started with winning the Carabao Cup. So if we get to the final and lose, of course it's failure. What's the excuse? Oh, we just didn't play well today. Oh, like we didn't spend a lot of money in this. Like, come on, like we're in the final. We're Liverpool. Of course, it's a failure if you're not winning major trophies, and that's the first major trophy that we can win. So definitely it definitely would be a failure. But it will be tough. It will be a tough fixture, just as Fulham will be tough tonight. No qualms about it. Liverpool like doing things a difficult way as well and making things difficult for themselves. So I'll be surprised if it's just a clean sweep and a walk in the park. So difficult fixtures, Fulham and Chelsea, albeit obviously we beat Fulham today. But something that Liverpool should definitely be winning, like especially if we get to the final.
100%. Listen, a couple of things about Liverpool I wanted to ask about is, why is that? And I was listening to The Guardian yesterday, and someone sent them an email that I thought it's brilliant. And we keep answering this, but Liverpool keep responding. The question was, how is the team that is top of the league, have the best defense in the league, have arguably the best defender in the league? We keep saying it's a leaky defense. Have forward line that scored 2 goals behind the leaders in goals. And then we keep doubting them and say, a lot of people say still they're finishing 3rd. Some people do. Some people say they have no chance of winning the title. Why do we keep doubting Liverpool?
You asking me? Or
who are you asking? Yeah,
I'm asking. So anybody can take it. Savva can start.
I mean,
is it about Liverpool or about Man City? Is it? Which one is it about?
Look, I listen. I suppose it's. I suppose it's who you support and what your viewpoint is. Look, for me, Man City and Liverpool, is there a tremendous difference in them? No. Do I think there's a bit more in City? Yes, I do. Am I discounting Liverpool completely to be able to stay up there in a title race or nick it? No, of course not. Liverpool have got a very good defence. Everyone keeps talking. I keep hearing Virgil van Dijk's finished. I keep watching him. he still looks
amazing, bro.
He still looks brilliant.
I wish I want finished Van Dijk then.
Exactly. I keep hearing Van Dijk's finished. I heard this all last season when Liverpool had a bad time. Liverpool finished. Klopp's finished. Van Dijk's finished. Salah's finished. I watched Van Dijk the other day. I can't remember who it was against. He was up against someone and he just brushed them off with a bit of ease. Did a little Cruyff turn and brought the ball out. And I was like, yeah, you're a Rolls Royce. Yeah, you're a top player. Look, anyone who's doubting Liverpool is wrong too. You can say, I'm not a hypocrite. I'll sit here and say, I think City are winning it. But I'm not discounting Liverpool for being right there. Liverpool are a really good team. And I think both these two win their next 7 games, by the way. I think both of these two win their next 7 games before they play each other. That's how good I think these two are. City had their little bad spell and now are on fire. Liverpool have lost 1 game all season, and that was Tottenham Gate, VAR Gate, whatever you want to call it at our ground. I think anyone writing them off is mad. They're a top team in all 4 competitions with 5 very good forwards.
Yeah, people keep telling me I don't give enough credit to Nunez, and I wanted to ask Jerry, but I don't want to dwell on it because these shows with me always we like give this. Apparently, I have an agenda against Nunez, and he's your second best forward. Someone said he's your second best striker because of stats. And the reason why I have Nunez on the thumbnail is that I think Nunez now, him and Jota, you step up. I think you're on. I think you're absolutely on. So how do you see this forward line without Mohamed Salah, who I think today they said he has a tear in his hamstring. I actually don't think it's going to be 3 weeks. I know how it is. Tear in a hamstring is at least 6 weeks.
I don't think it's 3 weeks either. The way, listen, Salah for Egypt, him pulling up like that, holding the hamstring, I just for them to say hopefully it's going to be a month. Pep Linders obviously said that in his press conference. He's saying, "Oh, I think it will be that amount of time because everything will go according to plan because Mo's body's never failed." That kind of talk just seems to me very optimistic. Look, the forward line's going to have to step up now. Gakpo, everyone's going to have to step up from the likes of Gakpo that's not starting at the moment to Diaz that's playing. Of course, obviously Nunez are going to have to step up. For me, it's Jota. Jota's the main one. Nunez, I think Nunez is still going to be Nunez. I think we've got to contextualize what's going on right now. He scored 7 goals in the league this year. 2 goals have been against Newcastle, and 2 goals came on the weekend against Bournemouth. Goals are goals, but I look at the Luton game and say, "Oh, if you missed that chance there, that could have been an extra 3 points." We go and look at, do you know what I mean, in future games, if he misses those chances that he has done for 18 months or so now, being a Liverpool player, then it's a massive problem. But Jota is the one that now needs to stay fit, needs to be on form, and if we can create chances that Liverpool can, and he's there, then he's going to finish them because he's a ridiculous finisher, and we've known this at Liverpool. But fitness has been a concern. Form at time has been a concern. Now he knows he's the main guy in terms of, all right, you're playing every single week. It's going to be on him to go and finish a lot of the chances because Nunez is still going to miss chances. He might create a lot. He might be a chance magnet. He might cause chaos as people want to go and talk. Jota is going to have to obviously finish it. And if he can, then essentially you've still got a goal scorer. And yes, he's not going to be Salah, but Liverpool have proven they can still create chances without that. And with Trent still coming back, Szoboszlai is going to be coming back, Robertson's coming back, the team is starting to look a lot stronger. And these are first teamers we're talking about as well. So, look.
Yeah, Mo isn't the one who's slagging Nunez. Jerry doesn't like Nunez.
I don't, but it is what it is. I don't like Nunez.
But Mo has an agenda against Nunez. Though they can't call out a Liverpool fan, of course, because you're a Liverpool fan. But when I call him out, when I say I don't like him, they say, you have an agenda. Why don't you give Nunez his props?
No,
I gave him his props. When he scored 2 goals, I gave him his props. Scored 2 goals.
He scored 2 good goals.
Very good finishes, good movement. And I said, yes. But I'm still not seeing Nunez as a player that Liverpool can rely on for a whole season. I just don't. And unless the goals, like you can see that he in patches, you can see that in moments he has something, right? Sometimes, but you see this every now and then, and that's not good enough for Liverpool.
Yeah. We've just got, like I said, the saving grace is that Liverpool create chances. And Liverpool always create chances. And we've got so many options where goals can come from, or whether that's coming from the midfield, whether that's coming from set pieces, whether that's Gakpo, Jota, Luis Diaz, Szoboszlai, whoever, Curtis Jones, they're all popping up with goals. So Salah's, of course, a big miss, but Liverpool haven't lost with Salah yet in his whole time at Liverpool. I think it's been 9 wins and 3 draws or something like that. So it's, you know, if you're looking for positive omens, that's a positive omen to have, that Liverpool can still win without Salah and that we're not Salah FC. So we'll have to wait and see.
Let me do the super chat before we go on. Oh, first super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel always, guys. Send the super chats. Get involved in the conversation. Support the channel with the super chat. Super chats means a lot to us. They support the channel massively, to be honest. Nilot Palace saying, Savva, please don't fall into Mo's agenda's trap. If Liverpool goes into the final, it will be against Chelsea, so it will be 50-50. So stay clear of Mo's traps. Oh, come on. I don't put traps to people. Come on. Thank you for the super chat. I don't. Let's talk about the squad thing and Liverpool and how they go again after people said last season. To be honest with you, I'm impressed. I said it's the most consistent team in the league. Most consistent doesn't mean you're the best, but consistency gets you there, and they are very consistent. They don't have dips. They dip only 2 games, and these 2 games were draws against Arsenal and Man United at home. And I believe that Liverpool, at some point, we will say that from here, you should be able to win it. Maybe a lot of people say Manchester City now because of the depth, because we know that Manchester City can literally win the next 14 games. But they play Liverpool in 7 games. They go to Anfield. I will never say that any team in the world will go to Anfield as favorites. That never happened, and that don't happen at all. Even with Real, people say, but Real Madrid won last season. Well, Barcelona 3-4 seasons ago lost 4-0. So that was Liverpool were terrible last year. They had a massive dip, but I think Liverpool can do this, can win the league. Quad is on. They are in the cup. They are in the Carabao Cup. They are in the Europa League. Do they have the squad to do it? It looks like it, and this is something that I wanted to speak to ask Savva about it. Jurgen Klopp now, without Szoboszlai, without Mohamed Salah, without Trent, is utilizing players like Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, is utilizing Bradley Connor, what's his name, whatever. Someone
Connor Bradley.
I never heard of Bradley Cooper or whatever. Someone I never heard of before, you know. But to be honest with you, that's a sign of a top manager, Savva. People said Harvey Elliott is enough. You don't have the depth. Look at Kwanzaa, this kid that I never heard of, coming in and playing like a defender that is very confident. They have the squad to go. They have the people to do it. And Jurgen Klopp is someone who is utilizing his team. Look at Nunez now scoring 2 goals. Without Salah, they looked fluid. They looked all right. Is this Jurgen Klopp thing gonna continue forever? And
yeah. Jurgen Klopp is a top manager. Yeah, listen. Last week I watched. I've been meaning to watch it for ages. There's a documentary on Sky documentaries about Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool and about since he joined there, and you can see this is a guy that lives it, breathes it, eats it, drinks it, whatever. Everything is his. And as I said before, when Mo, everyone has a go at me about when I say Chelsea need to stop sacking managers and actually build something, this is why. When you look at the 2 most successful clubs in the last decade in this country, when you look at Man City and Liverpool, what they've got in common is they've both had their managers there for, I mean, I don't know, how long's Klopp been there? Is it 8?
8 years now, yeah.
8 years.
Since 2015.
Right, and Pep's been there since what, 2016?
17, 18.
Okay, so 7 or 8 years, right?
No,
7 and 8 years.
16.
And both of them in that time have won shed loads, built very, very good squads. And the question always about Klopp was, we know that Pep can build a squad over and over and over again. We know that. The big question everyone was asking was, can Klopp build another squad? For me, I think he's made some great signings. Everyone, the problem is, again, it's all famine or feast. Every player, if they're not world-class, they're crap. And if they're not crap, they're world-class, right? Liverpool have got a really good squad of players they put together. Players like Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, very good players. Very good players. Are they sexy names? Are they on that list that people go, oh my God, he's a baller. He's generational. He's world-class. No, but I watch Curtis Jones and I go, I'd have you in my midfield.
I like it when someone does this.
I'd have
Curtis Jones is a baller, though. Curtis Jones is a baller.
But I mean, I don't subscribe to these words because for me, it's just nonsense. He's a very good footballer, right? That comes in, does his job, scores goals, assists, and Klopp relies on him. Harvey Elliott, nasty little git, but you need a little bit of nasty in you. You need a little bit of nasty in you to succeed. And again, really good little footballer, can play in multiple positions. The midfielders he's brought in, for me, have all done well in patches. Maybe you won't see the consistency from that midfield until it's been playing together a bit longer. You look at the 5 forwards he's created. Again, we're talking about the Darwin Nunez thing. Take away the price tag. It doesn't have to be the best player in the world. because you've got the option of Nunez, Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, Jota. They've given themselves options, Mo. This is, again, if we take this right the way back to the beginning of the show, they've done everything, these two clubs, that Arsenal have not done. They've given themselves options all over the park. The fact that you can lose Gomez and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who are both right backs, and play Connor Bradley there speaks volumes. You can bring him in. They didn't miss any of them. Yeah, they don't miss Mo Salah. I think they're a very, very good team. I think Klopp's a great manager. There's not many great managers around. Klopp is certainly one of them. And they will go far. But it's not all doom and gloom. If they don't win the league title this year, it's not all doom and gloom of, oh, we failed. It will take time. Go again. Salah might move on. Right. What are you going to do then? Salah goes. Who are you bringing in? Doesn't have to be a like-for-like replacement. But what are you doing with that money, with those funds, to build elsewhere in the squad? Now Jones and Elliott have got a year's more experience. So has Szoboszlai's got a year Premier League under his belt. McAllister another year. Yeah, I think what they're doing is good. I think what they're doing is good. They've got great squad depth. I think they've got great players. There's a reason they don't lose games of football, and they should win the League Cup definitely and the Europa League. They should. Premier League, they're up against City. They're not in the other two competitions.
That's what Tyler Jones is saying. Tyler Jones said Liverpool have too many average poor first halves. Until that changes, it's still City as favorites. Well, okay, I wanted to go into another subject, but to be honest with you, nobody speaks about City's deficiencies. Everybody is speaking about Liverpool's deficiencies. Like people say, but Liverpool don't have this. Well, Man City, without Kevin De Bruyne, looked a little bit sometimes not the team that they were last year, which is expected. This is the notion that people say, yeah, Mo, you have an agenda against City. Because everybody is saying that City don't have this, City don't have that, but Liverpool do. Like Tyler Jones is a Liverpool fan. And he's saying, until we change that. Well, not a lot of people are saying until City change this, they aren't favorites. Until City finds that. Until this moment, Pep Guardiola is rotating players. He's trying to find his best 11. They have injuries like Haaland has missed 9 games. And he's expected to be back at the end of the month or like, I think 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure. My point about this is that Liverpool, they lost the league. And that brings me to the question. Thank you, Tyler, for absolutely supporting the channel and a brilliant super chat. Pep versus Klopp. And I don't want to go very, very deep into this. Circumstances, 1 point, 1 decision by a referee could have made this era Klopp versus Pep, but it's not. It's Pep's era, especially if he wins the league this year. 1 point. But we are saying that Liverpool aren't favorites. If it was 1 point for 2 seasons, yes, City won it, but it could have been the other way around. That's my point about Liverpool. We are trying, I think we are nitpicking for Liverpool, trying to find the deficiencies instead of praising them. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the general media. Every time I'm opening a podcast, every time I'm opening a news outlet, I am seeing Liverpool have this, Liverpool have that, but City don't. They say City are this, City are this. Why do you think that is? Is it because Pep won 5 titles and Klopp won 1? But it could have been 3, but that's the logic, Savva.
Of course it's logic. Of course it's logic. If you've got one guy that's won 5 out of 6, of course the favourite's going to sit with a guy that's won.
But I can say it's maybe because of a referee's decision. It could have been 2 and 4.
Mo, but that's all white noise. 5 out of
6 isn't a referee's decision, though. 5 out of 6.
That's all white noise, yeah.
2 of them. 1.
Mo, it's white noise. Mo, if Jerry and I were both world championship heavyweight boxers, and we'd had a fight with each other 6 times, and Jerry had knocked me out 5 out of 6 times, right? He's the favourite going into the 7th match because he's beaten me 5 of the 6.
So
right?
You guys believe this is called Pep's era? It's not Pep versus Klopp.
Of course it's Pep's era. He's won 5 out of 6 titles.
It's a blue moon. It's a blue moon. It is what it is.
Right. You both agree that this Klopp isn't in the conversation with Pep at his time in the Premier League.
I mean,
no, if you're talking about accomplishments and what they've won, of course not. If you're looking at them individually and trying to do a
I'm not looking at them individually. I'm looking in 10 years, Jerry. Forget this title this year because I don't know who's going to win it.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if Pep wins it this year, as everybody's saying City are favorites. Huh? You sat here and said City are favorites, Jerry, as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
So if we go by that logic and he wins it this year, in 10 years, will people remember that this was a Pep versus Klopp era or only Pep era? I'm asking you this question as a Liverpool fan.
I
a tough
love
one,
it,
isn't it?
Jerry. When Mo does this, Mo knows exactly what he does.
Of course he does.
love
Look
it.
at the smile on his
Look
face.
at he
Look at the
knows.
smile
He
on his
knows.
face.
He knows. Mo, you cheeky little git.
You know what? We'll have to wait and see if Liverpool win the league, isn't it?
See?
But if they don't, if they don't, people will look back on it and be like, even though there was a valiant effort put up by Klopp, and Klopp was a fantastic manager, Pep was able to overcome that and won 7 times in 10 years, or whatever it's going to be in 10 years' time. That's the way they're going to look at it. That unfortunately, it is where it is. Do you remember who was the second top goal scorer 5 seasons ago? I don't.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it was 1 goal less. Let's just be honest. It doesn't matter. It could have been 1 goal less that the player scored. You just don't remember. You just don't.
It's like fans celebrating top 4. We had a chat about this yesterday, right? When fans celebrate top 4, like this has become a new thing. When you look through the record books in 20, 30 years' time, no one's going to give a monkeys about who finished 4th in the league or 3rd.
100%.
No one's going to care, right? Yeah. This is the thing. No one cares. No one cares that Tottenham got to a Champions League final in 2019. No one's going to remember that.
We care. There's a lot of people that care, actually.
But not in the future. When the record books are looked at, it's not going to say, oh, and Tottenham got to a final. It just doesn't happen. Look, Pep, for me, listen, if Klopp wins the next couple, and then you start looking at it, it's 5-3. You start going, God, yeah, now it's a race. If it goes 6-1 from the last decade for Pep, it's over. It's, to be fair, it's kind of over now at 5-1. But look, I don't think. See, Mo, when you said what you said there, I think it's a bit disingenuous. I don't think anyone is saying that City don't have deficiencies. I don't think anyone said that. Man City definitely have deficiencies. You can get at Man City at the back because of the way they play. They play the highest line I think I've ever seen in football. And they know the moment they lose that ball, you're going to get in behind them. It's the same thing that Pep did at Barcelona when they had that great Barcelona team, right, with Puyol and Piqué at the back. Everyone said, oh, Barcelona aren't very good at the back. You can get at them. Yeah, you can only get at them because they allow you to get at them, right? Because they're going to lose the ball at some point in the game and they're on the halfway line. So you're going to be able to get at them. So they do have deficiencies. The difference is this guy's got over the line time and time and time and time again. That's what people will put their money on. Yeah, that's what I think people will put their money on, is that Pep knows how to do it more than any other manager out there does. It's just know-how.
Yeah. There's a question, couple of super chats, and that one of them is a very, very good question. Nunez Palace saying, do not agree with the idea that Liverpool has a deep squad. Wish the club signed at least a centre back this window. 4 competitions, invests, injuries, Mojenda, #Mojenda. Yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans saying that they wanted another centre back. But to be honest with you, Nunez Palace, and I'm gonna respond to this and say, you didn't count Kwanzaa at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you
didn't. Yeah. You weren't aware of there is a centre back available that can play in Europa League and in the cup games and in some league games and look comfortable. A lot of people that say we needed to sign a centre back, they didn't count him. But Matip is injured, and none of you Liverpool fans counted that Gomez will be as consistent as he is now. None of you.
Mo, can I answer this? Sorry, little pal. Sorry, when you're saying Liverpool. You do not agree with the idea that Liverpool has squad depth. Liverpool have 5 forwards that all score goals. Right, 5. No one else in the league has that. Liverpool have in midfield, they have Endo, McAllister, Gravenbach, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and Bajcetic when he's back. So they've got 7 central.
Thiago.
They've got 8. There you go, 8. At the back, they can play Connor Bradley, Gomez, or Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. They can play Robertson or Tsimikas at left back, and Gomez has been going out there and doing it as well. And they can play Gomez, Matip, Konate, Van Dijk, and Quansah at centre half. Where is there not depth? Sorry, what am I missing? They've got 5 centre halves now that Kwanzaa's gone in there. They've played half the season
Matip is
without...
out ACL, Savva. Matip is out ACL.
Yeah, Mo, you're missing my point. Yes, the whole season, Liverpool have missed Matip and Robertson. So for a team with no depth, then they're not doing too bad, are they? They've got the best defence in the league without 2 of their back 4 in the team for the entire season. Thiago's not kicked a ball all season. Trent Alexander-Arnold's out. Salah's out. Sorry, where is this depth? Where is this lack of depth that this guy is talking about?
I think they want, and let me ask Jerry about this before we move on to the next super chat. It's that centre back. Do you still think that without a centre back, your chances are slimmer? A centre back is good. Everybody wants a signing. If you ask Savva now, he's like, yeah, I want 5 more players. Who doesn't?
Of course.
Right? But realistically, do you think you lack a centre back?
No. The only way we'd lack a centre back is if Van Dijk went out injured for the rest of the season, and now you need someone to perform on that level. But that's every team, isn't it? It's like if Liverpool lose Salah, they're not as strong. If De Bruyne was out for the season, then City are not as strong. That happens for every team. But when you're talking about depth, the depth is fine. Whether you think the quality is an issue, that's a different discussion. So if there's certain fans that think Gomez isn't good enough hypothetically, or Kwanzaa isn't good enough, or Konate is not good enough, which I don't think they would say, then yeah, that's an issue. But in terms of depth, it's there. What I think Liverpool fans are wary of is the fact that Matip's gone down and he's always injury prone. Joe Gomez has an injury in him, or he's had 2 big injuries that have curtailed him. And Konate is obviously an injury concern as well. But Liverpool fans wanted us to sign Inacio and Colwell, as you just discussed. That was before we knew Kwanzaa was even in the picture. So Kwanzaa's essentially coming into that spot. So if you rate Kwanzaa, as people, and some people are calling him Mini Van Dijk, VVQ, and trying to put all this pressure on him, then surely he's got the ability to go and play week in, week out if need be.
He came back with a super chat. Tyler Jones, I see your super chats, but I will discuss them because they're very good ones. He's saying Matip is out for the season. Konate is 1 injury away. Gomez is covering left back. Kwanzaa against City as centre back. Allow it.
Robertson and Tsimikas are coming back. Trent is coming back.
Liverpool have got the best defence in the Premier League this season and are in. Sorry, am I blind? Liverpool are 1 game away from Wembley tonight. They're in the knockout stages of the Europa League. They're in the FA Cup against Norwich at Anfield, yeah? And they're top of the Premier League, having only conceded 18 goals. What is this guy talking about? Like, how long do you play this game, Mo? How long do we sit here and go, well, if we also lose Jones, Elliott, and McAllister, then we're in trouble. How many players down do you want to go before? I don't understand what this guy's talking about. Liverpool have got
what I don't get is like, fans don't make any sense though. Let's say hypothetically Liverpool go out and sign an Inacio, right, for 60 million or 40 million, whatever it's going to go and cost. He's going to want to go and play every single game. Who's he coming in and playing in front of? You're then relying on Konate to be injured. Is he starting ahead of Gomez now? Gomez has been arguably one of Liverpool's best players this season. Does he start ahead of Gomez? Any player's 1 injury away. Like, we can't just go and get a play. Like, this isn't FIFA where you can have 17 centre-backs and they just none of them can be in the squad for the game. And then you're like, actually, I'm just going to rotate this game. It's like, no, you've got to, like, unfortunately, Liverpool have got a centre-back in Konate that can get injured. Now, Liverpool have precautions with that. They clearly rate Kwanzaa and they look at Gomez to go and cover that situation if need be. Matip's out for the season. They might go and sign someone in the summer, but that's not something to just address in January. I don't think that strengthens our title credentials. If anything, signing a Tony or getting another striker that could potentially go and just score all those chances that Nunez misses probably increases your title credentials, because then you've got a striker that's scoring or outperforming his XG, as people want to go and say. That probably makes a bit more sense, but Liverpool aren't going to go and do that.
It would make sense if this guy was talking like, look, if you look at Spurs, we lost Van der Ven and Romero both at the same time and didn't have any other centre-halves. Then you say, yeah, you need to go and buy a centre-back. And we did. We've gone and bought Dragashin, right? Now you've got all 3 of them fit. But Liverpool have got Van Dijk, Konate, Matip, Gomez, Kwanzaa. They can all play centre-half. I've no idea what people are watching.
Yeah, wanted to move on from this. Tyler Jones is sending another super chat. Said, until City No. This is something that I wanted to discuss
Yeah.
for real.
Oh,
Until
no.
City beat them 115 charges. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. And Nilot Palace saying, era of the fraud, 115, right? And Tyler, I'm going to leave this here, right? Pep needs to beat the allegations before I say it's his era. Okay, so one of the things that we discussed before is that are there shades on the City team? This Pep achievement that he did, winning a treble, winning 5 league titles, dominating the league. Thank you, Tyler, by the way, for supporting the channel with a massive donation. Guys, W's for Tyler in the chat, please, because he's supporting the channel massively. And I'm going to ask Savva about this. Are there shades? I don't know if they're guilty or not, and I'm not going to say that. Well, I believe they did something, right, proven or not proven. Is this shades on how, because if you cheat to build a squad that will win you all this, I think that discounts your achievement, doesn't it?
Of course. This is one of those hypothetical conversations. It all depends what the punishment is. It all depends what they're going to be charged with as to whether the whole thing is a sham or whether or not they were a few million out or whether or not this one transfer. Look, I don't know. It's impossible to say because none of us know the truth. None of us know the truth, right? So I've seen some of those charges against them are funny. Some of them are like, the grass was too long. Things like that. And you're like, what? Look, I think this is going to be an amazing YouTube conversation, football conversation in however many months they make this decision. I think then everyone's going to be in a much better place to say, well, that's discredited. This is discredited. At the moment, I don't know what it is. None of us know with certainty what it is. If they've done something wrong, then they'll have to be punished accordingly, like any other club would. I don't think it's different because it's City. But if they're relegated, they're relegated. If their titles are stripped, their titles are stripped. What will be, will be. And then you take it from there. But I don't know how I can really answer that right now. People are saying relegate them to League 2, League 1, Championship. No one knows what the charges are yet. No one knows what they're going to be found guilty of. How are we predetermining a sentence without actually knowing what you're guilty of?
But can I ask you something, Jerry? Do you believe they did something? Okay, so I said that on the terrace and people went crazy. It's all right, Savva, you could just go. I said something on the terrace and people said I'm crazy. I said, if you kill someone, and we know that you killed someone, but you have very good lawyers and the case gets dropped because you have very good lawyers and because of technicalities or because you can't prove that you killed someone, does that mean you're innocent? So the question to you is that, do you believe actually City, their growth, the fast growth, was based on full side books and they didn't do it fairly? I'm really asking the question.
To put it bluntly, definitely. I work. Yeah, I mean, I work in an industry where that stuff is rife in terms of being creative with your finances. Now, of course, when it comes to sport, there's obviously legalities and obviously the sportsmanship and that type of thing. But you know, you're clearly seeing Forest are breaching terms, Everton are breaching terms. If we go back a few seasons ago, QPR probably done the same thing. Watford have probably done the same thing. Charlton even done the same thing. This probably happens on a wide scale. Now, City, because when you compare it to Everton, they're the beneficiaries of it because they're the example that, you know, of how money and how the use of being creative with finances has enabled them to get to a certain level. Everton, on the other hand, are a team that tried to go and do that and it just didn't work because they didn't have a concrete plan in there. So I'm looking at City for me. Look, they definitely look. There's like I don't think they'll be found guilty if I'm being honest. I think. Look,
I think they'll be found guilty of something, Jerry. They'll be found guilty of something for sure, right?
Yeah, but even so, it will be probably the most minute thing. It won't really have a massive bearing on where Man City end up. I don't think there'll be points deductions. I don't think there'll be titles stripped. I think it'll just be a monetary fine that they have to go.
I
and pay.
agree. I agree.
So I look at it now. If the question is, are City innocent? I don't think so. Can you prove that City are guilty? And now that's what law requires you to do. It's not about whether you're innocent or not. It's whether you can prove it.
Mhm.
If they can't prove it, then there's nothing we can do about it. And if I'm being deadly honest, in a hypothetical realm, let's say their titles are stripped. That Aguero moment's going to stay with all the City fans and all us as fans. I'm still going to feel the pain of losing the league by 1 point, even though it's reinstated back into me. I'm not going to look at it and be like, yes, we won the thing, because ultimately we didn't. So it's a weird situation for me. Obviously it's unprecedented because we're not in these situations. If they were guilty and they got relegated, then of course that has a bearing on the seasons after that, and there's repercussions in the future. But
I actually think if they are found guilty,
what's done is done now, isn't it?
No.
Mancini's gone. We're talking about Mancini. Mancini's been long gone. Like, it is what it is. You're talking about Pep now.
This is Jerry, bang on, because this is the thing. I think that we can sit here as football fans and talk about this all day long as to what we think should happen, but there's so many things they're going to have to take into account. Who was there at the time? Who did it? What did they do? How severe was it? What was the effect on anybody else? Then what do they do to the football club? What's that effect have on the football club? What effect does that have on their staff? Forget the players. What effect does that have on the staff? Right? So, for example, when we're sitting here going, move them to League Two. Cool. Move them to League Two. Cool. What now happens then with all the thousands of people, probably not thousands, but hundreds of people that work in the back offices and everything for Man City? Do they just all lose their job? Does everyone lose their job because now Man City are a League Two club? What happens to the players' contracts? What happens to this when they sell the players? Where does the money go? Does the club get to keep the money? Like, there's so much to it, but everyone's an expert in something that we don't know anything about. Honestly, you know me well. I like to read comments, and when I'm reading comments in the chat, like people going, "Oh, Savva's sticking up for City." I haven't stuck up for them once. I've literally just sat there and said, I think they're going to be found guilty of something, but I can't sit here and tell you what the punishment should be. I can't sit here and tell you what's going to happen and the knock-on effect, because we don't know what they're going to be found guilty for. I think, Jerry, I don't know if you agree with me, we can safely say they're not going to be found guilty of 115 charges. They're not going to be found guilty of it all.
If they were found guilty of 115 charges, the club would cease to exist. Like, Man City would have to go and start from rock bottom, like Macclesfield.
Exactly. Actually, I think if they are found guilty, okay, so the reason why I don't think they're going to be found guilty is that because of the lawsuits. The people that missed on Champions League, because Everton now, there's a lot of lawsuits against them, 300 million. A lot of teams that missed on Champions League, a lot of teams that missed on the league, a lot of teams. The reason why I'm saying that, because it means they aren't going to find them for not making the Champions League. They are going to sue them for the financial disarray they have, for the financial losses. For a team that didn't make a Champions League and came fifth, they're going to say, well, we could have made that much money, 50 million from Champions League for 3 seasons. I want this money. I want this money. Give me this money.
All the teams that lost to City and as a result of that loss got relegated, they would use that and be like, hey,
this is why you've got to be really careful. When we're talking about stripping titles, in an ideal world, we could sit here, right? The world isn't as clear-cut as most football fans want to make it. Just strip City of all their titles. Okay, cool. Now answer the question. Does that mean for those seasons that City won the title, does that mean that everyone that finished second automatically gets the title? Does that then mean that the teams that finished fifth and missed out on Champions League by 1 place could then say, well, hang on, we want to be compensated because we would have finished 1 place higher up and we should have been in the Champions League? Does the team that Man City beat on the last day of the season to relegate them say, hang on, they relegated us, we missed out on all this money? I think this is going to be an absolute mess. That is why I don't think it's going to be as severe as people want, because I think it will just be a mess. I think they're going to get a massive points fine and a massive monetary fine, right? It will never happen mid-season to Man City. They're not going to do it mid-season to Manchester City. You know they're not.
Yeah, I believe you. It's never going to happen.
You know they're not. They're not going to.
I know exactly what's going to happen.
Right now.
It happened to Juventus.
But imagine they went to court right now, right? Imagine they went to court right now and they said, right, Man City are relegated to the Championship. how on earth would that affect all of the Premier League this season? All of Man City's upcoming games, all of the games Man City have already played. Yeah. How does it affect all of that? How does that affect the Championship? Because now Man City are going down to the Championship.
They'd win everything. If they stayed in
It's
the
mad.
Championship, they just come back up as well, like Juventus.
Agreed.
Juventus is a great example.
No. I didn't mean Juventus in 2006.
When did you meet?
Right.
Oh, okay.
I actually believe so. What is going to happen is Juventus last season, they got found guilty of something with the taxes and stuff like that. So what they did is that they just deducted 12 points from them. It didn't affect their season. That's it. That's absolutely it. Listen, I'm going to move on from the City thing. Let me just do these couple of super chats. Nilot Palace saying era of fraud 15. Nilot Palace saying to compete against City, you need quality in depth. But we believe you have quality in depth. You do have quality in depth. You don't believe it. It's up to you. But Jerry literally explained why he thinks there's quality in depth. You don't rate the Curtis Jones and the Harvey Ellis. It's up to you. A lot of people do.
No, but that's what it is. If you're looking at it and you don't rate Kwanzaa, you don't rate Gomez, then then that's fair. You think you need to go and bring in a player, but it's not a question of numbers. It's now the quality. So you clearly by saying,
but that's what he means. I think
quality.
They don't rate some of these players, so that's why they need more. Nilot Palace saying last point. Only thing I'm worried about is that they have been given so much time to manufacture evidence. Listen, there is a lot to go through. There's a lot to go through.
Everyone's a finance expert now. Everyone's a legal expert. This is where it gets ridiculous, right? This is where it gets. The only thing I'm worried about. What do you mean? The only thing you're worried about? Listen, what happens to them will happen to them. Again, people in the chat. I didn't say don't punish them. I don't know what people, you know, when you speak into this, like this, see this, right? Where is it? See this? I'm sure what I say goes in there and comes out the other end. So I never said don't punish them. I said I don't think that they will have the book thrown at them like fans want them to because of the repercussions to everything in football. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah,
I've not said, I think they'll get like a 30-point deduction. And I think it will be millions in fines if found guilty. I think that so in essence, what it will be, rather than taking away a title that they've won, I think it will be taking away a title that they
potential title that they'll win next.
Yeah, that's what I think they'll do is go, right, go on. You've got a 25, 30-point deduction at the beginning of the season. So straight away you go, oh, well, City aren't winning it this year. People have got to listen. They've got to listen. I've never said they're innocent. I don't know. I like the rest of you, I can only see what I see on the TV and in the media, but everyone's got to stop pretending that they're a lawyer and they know the punishments.
Big Six Band Mons, thank you for supporting the channel. Saying Jurgen Quad. Oh, never mind, it's too early. You said that before, Mons. Liverpool fans said that Jurgen Quad before. Look what happened to you. Look what happened to you. Listen, last point that I wanted to speak about to Savva, especially because I have Savva here. I don't have Savva every day. So James Maddison is back against City. How big of a boost James Maddison is to the team? Because he was one of the best, if not the best players, along with Mohamed Salah before he leaves.
Look, it's a massive thing for Spurs. He's the difference maker. We talked about earlier players that are difference makers. For me, he's the one that makes us tick. He's the one in those first 10 games of the season where everyone was saying how well Spurs were playing. Everything went through James Maddison. Everything went through him, pulling into that number 10 position, dropping deep into midfield, playing through balls, getting assists, scoring some goals. I think it's everything. Big game for him to come back, having not played for 3 months, to jump straight in against Man City. I think is a huge risk because you're playing against a team that keep the football and are going to make him run and press for 90 minutes. Is this the game you want to bring him back on? Only Postecoglou knows whether he's fit enough to do that.
That's your only trophy this season to win, right? You have to risk it. You have to risk it.
But you say you have to risk it. But again, I'm thinking about, do I want to risk one game with Maddison that could mean he misses the rest of an entire season? Nah. I want James Maddison fit and firing. Listen, the club will know if he's fit enough to play. But look, he's a huge He just been a huge miss for us. He's our creativity. Huge miss. Really
you know,
good
I
player.
love James Maddison. I believe he's one of the best number 10s in the world, actually, the way he plays. If he plays against Manchester City, it gives you a massive boost, to be honest. They don't have Haaland, so that's a massive difference for them. I'm not sure how City will go against about this game. Are they going to go with full team? I know Spurs will. I know Ange Postecoglou didn't like when the fans said that you threw out the Carabao Cup in the beginning, so I'm sure he's going to go with the full team. Someone said, and Jerry, just last question, I think Carragher or Gary Neville said that actually Spurs can finish above Liverpool. Is that something you see happening at all this season?
No, I don't see that. But I'm going to be honest, I could see them finishing ahead of Arsenal. I could see them finishing third. The way the league is,
I don't think that's even a hot take anymore.
No, it's not. But when I said it,
it is.
I think Liverpool will be there or thereabouts personally. Like looking at how the season's panned out, so I just don't see. I think Spurs have had their dip too early now, and to gain that back up would mean that Liverpool would have to have a momentous drop off for that to happen.
You play Arsenal, Chelsea. It's a 3-game drift.
Yeah, but we'd still need a momentous drop off, and Spurs would have to win every single game to still be able to go and do that. And I just don't see that happening. I think they're still obviously it's a new project. It's their first season under a new manager. With Arsenal, though, I can easily see that happening. Easily, as in I can see Arsenal dropping a couple of points, drawing games, and Spurs winning them, and then ultimately at the end of the league, looking at the end of the season, looking like they're third in the league, and Arsenal are fighting for top 4 with Aston Villa. So I can see that, but not Liverpool now.
Do you know what? I've said this all along, Jerry. When it gets to the business end of the season, you've got 17 games to go. The 8-point gap from Spurs to Liverpool, 17 games. Let's assume Liverpool win. I think you'll win more, but let's assume you win 12 of that 17. It would mean for Spurs to finish above you, we've got to win 15 of our 17 games left.
It's not happening.
It's a huge.
Yeah,
Listen,
you put it this way, it's not happening.
If he gets Champions League football in year 1 from what he picked up from losing Harry Kane, from the mess we were in, it's been a phenomenal year. Even if we finish 5th and get Europa League, it's not the end of the world. It's year 1. It's year 1. But that's why I never quite got with the whole our Spurs in a title race type conversation. It just felt way too soon for me. Way too soon.
Listen, people, this has been absolutely brilliant show with Savva and Jerry James. A lot of good talk, a lot of things that upset the chat, a lot of things that people agreed with in the chat, of course. But I really appreciate everybody. Listen, we're only 14 likes away from 300 likes, and we still have over 400 people here. So you can like the video so we get to 300 likes. It's simple. It doesn't cost you a penny. Savva, Football Heritage TV, guys. Daily grind, fantastic content, not about Spurs, about transfer window. He has these fantastic shows with other people as well. Jerry James, the Jerry James show about Liverpool, guys, go give them a subscription, please. At least Savva should see 50 people subscribing to his channel after the show. At least. It's not even a tough ask. It's not even a tough ask.
At least, Mo, I'm only 80 away from 13K. At least 80. Let's get 80.
Guys, it's not even that tough for you to go and click on Football Heritage TV and Jerry James and open them in a new tab, subscribe and come back. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you will see way more content than this. And I know a lot of you subscribed already, but he can see 50 subs. Come on, people, I'm pushing you to do it. And listen, appreciate both of you guys. Well, this was an absolutely fantastic chat. I enjoyed every single minute of it. And we'll see you guys soon. We'll see you guys tonight after the Liverpool game. If Liverpool lose or win, we'll talk. See you guys later.
See
ya.